Hello, everyone. I'm Galliana Angel, and this is my monthly forecast for the little ones out there, our little star seeds and light workers. I have been wanting to do this for some time because I am so blessed to have two beautiful star seeds in my family, and one of them discovered a couple of years ago that even at a very tender young age, he was able to do card readings and connect to spirit as well, probably better than I can. And we actually practiced that theory and had him try multiple readings on different people, mostly adults. And these were adults that promised to be very honest and open about their feedback and whether or not things really resonated with them and if it felt true to them personally or not. And he received wonderful, amazing feedback from every single reading. I started to do this reading with him, my son, Hunter. You'll see him in the picture for the thumbnail of this video. Unfortunately, though, I had some technical difficulties and it didn't record him standing here next to me actually pulling the cards. So I had to start this video over again. He wanted to move on and go do his own thing, which is perfectly understandable. So now I'm going to finish the reading for him and show you exactly what he drew for you little people out there. So this message is what Hunter's angels and my angels are telling us that you need to hear to have a good month of October, okay? So Hunter drew from one of his two decks that he really enjoys that are animal decks. This is called Children's Spirit Animal Cards. They are from Dr. Stephen D. Farmer. They're for ages 3 and up, but obviously it's dependent on the child. But basically what Hunter does is he says a little prayer, and he calls in his angels and spirit guides, and he asks them to pick as many cards as he feels guided to give the message to the little people out there, the children out there like you, and what angels think they need to hear for this month or the week or whenever he's doing the reading. And when I first tried to record this, he stood right here next to me. You could see him. He shuffled the cards, and then he drew the 3 cards that he felt guided to share with you. And then I was going to take over and give those readings for him. Unfortunately, he did so and had to go on because we had to cut that part out of the video. But he left me those 3 all-important cards to share with you, and that's what I'm here to do now. Okay? The first card that Hunter drew for you is the ladybug card. Do you like ladybugs? Have you ever seen one before? It says, notice the little things. Now, parents, if your little ones aren't big enough and don't feel like sitting here and watching this whole video, that's okay. You can pass on this information, and the activities that are suggested, you can do them with your child or your grandchild or whoever you are taking care of. So the ladybug, now I'm going to read what the book says about the ladybug, but then I'm also going to tell you what my angels are telling me that you need to know as well. The ladybug says, have you ever noticed how small I am? And yet how much attention I attract and how people can see me so easily? I can attract when I land somewhere nearby. People see me and they immediately take a look at me. My colors and my unusual dots and markings do attract the eye in spite of how little I can be. See the ladybug? Sometimes they're red, real bright red. Sometimes they're a lighter red or almost a brownish color. But they got spots. It is important to notice the little things around you, like how the veins in a leaf look. Have you ever looked at a leaf and seen those lines on there? They kind of look like little rivers, right? Or what do they look like to you? Have you ever stopped to look at a leaf? The way a spider meanders around, looking like she knows exactly where she's going to go? Have you ever watched a spider? Or if you ever smelled the scent of a flower. Have you ever smelled a flower? how some of them smell like really sweet, almost like a fruity smell, and then others just smell kind of like grass or weeds, but they have a smell to them? Yeah. Well, many people today are always in such a big hurry, especially us adults, right? We got to hurry to work. We have to hurry to get to school. We have to hurry to dinner. But that's because adults have, our job is to get everybody where they need to go on time, right? But because of that, we can rush a little too much sometimes, and we don't pay attention to those little things like the spots on a bug or the veins on a leaf. And your angels are saying that we need to stop and take a look at these things that are close by us. Our world is full of such amazing, magical things. And you have the advantage of being a smaller person. And because you're smaller than adults, you're more likely to see some of these things. In fact, there might be times you see things that adults can't even see anymore. Have you ever seen something and tried to point it out to an adult and they don't see it, but you do? Yeah, that's because you're very special in that way. You may not want to be a child, you might not want to be little anymore, but you have some special magical ways of doing things that adults can't do once they grow up. And that's special. But you have to look around you. You have to pay attention to things. Even take a closer look at the people in your life. Like, does somebody in your family or at school have a really funny laugh? Do they make some funny faces? Do they walk funny? Or different? I should say different. Because we should never make fun of somebody or call somebody funny looking or tell them they do something funny unless it's a good thing, like a funny laugh or a funny joke or something like that. But something can look funny to you. Have you noticed if Grandpa walks a little differently than other people? Or does Daddy sneeze really loud, or does he have a deeper voice than Mommy or Grandma or your brother or your sister? Notice those little things. Now, there's some activities in here for this card about paying attention to things that it recommends you do. And I'm going to give you one of them to do. Start noticing, looking at your friends and your family and seeing if you can find something to give them a compliment. Do you know what a compliment is? It's when you say something nice about somebody. And the reason angels want you to do this is because it's often the little things that you do, like saying thank you, or I love you, or you look nice, and paying them a compliment that can really help people feel good. But you have to pay attention to little things about them to be able to do that, right? Yeah. So this week, the angels would like you to pay attention to your mommy or your daddy or your nana or your papa or whoever you live with, or your friends or your teacher, or the nice lady at church or at the grocery store, and see if you can think of something nice to say to them. Do they have a really cool shirt on? Or do you like their shoes? Did they change their hair and you like the new color? Or did they get new glasses? Try and find something different about them or something that you like. It doesn't have to be different. And pay them a compliment about it. And that just means you say, I really like your new hair color, or your haircut, or I really like your shirt, or how about just really, you look pretty, or you look really nice today. If it's a boy or a man and you don't want to say pretty, that's okay. You can just say, you look really nice today. And you take that time to pay that compliment and see how happy it makes them. And if you don't get a really good response or it doesn't feel like it made them feel that great, then try it on somebody else. Because I promise you, you will make somebody's day and make them very, very happy if you do that. Okay? So let's look at the next card that my son Hunter drew because his angels told him to. That's the elephant card. You can overcome any problem That's what your elephant card says. You can overcome any problem. Do you like elephants? I love elephants. They are one of my favorite animals. And your angels want you to know that the elephant says, I'm sure sometimes you feel like you're faced with some things that you can't get around or you can't fix. Like a real problem that makes you feel bad because you feel like you can't fix it. You had some trouble with one of your subjects at school, or one of your parents got upset with you, or a friend you usually play with for some reason didn't want to hang out with you one day, or you lost something and you just can't seem to find it. Have any of those things happened to you? Yeah, it happens to everybody sometimes. But whether it's one problem or one of many problems, when it seems like nothing's going right, yeah, it can be quite overwhelming. It can really upset you. But when you're overwhelmed and it's hard to think straight or figure out what to do, that's okay because you can handle it. You're very special and you're very strong. The first thing to do if that happens is you pause. That means you stop for a second and take a couple deep breaths. Okay? So this is for anything that upsets you. If you're upset by something, somebody's mad at you, or you're mad at something, or you can't find something, take a few deep breaths. Or they don't have to be real deep breaths, but just take slower breaths and go. And blow it out through your mouth, okay? So breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, do that 2 or 3 times. And then tell yourself, I am relaxed. I am calm. And as you breathe, tell yourself that. Closing your eyes, I close my eyes because it helps me to calm down and relax, and it can help you too if you want. You can keep your eyes open if you want, but that's how you can try. I am calm. I am relaxed. Remind yourself that most problems you face are not as big as you think they are. They're not as big of a deal. And a few minutes later, you'll forget about them and it won't even bother you anymore. And that you have a number of different things that you can do to help you solve anything that feels like a real big problem. The first resource you should turn to is your parents or your grandparents or your aunt or uncle or whoever, the adults that you live with. Okay, you turn to them or other trusted adults like at school if something's bothering you at school. If it helps to solve the problem, you can use the internet or books to look up the problem or try and find a solution, but always ask the adult if it's okay to use the internet or the books to look up the problem to see if you can find an answer on how to fix it. Because some books and things on the internet are written by adults or other kids that have the same problem, and they share how they fixed it. You can also find steps on how to take care of that situation. But you always must strongly believe that you can solve the problem, because you can. Because God or whatever your mommy or daddy or your adult in your life calls your higher power, your angels, creator source or mother nature or whatever, ask your parents what they call it. Or even just you, inside of you. You have that higher power in you that will teach you and show you how to fix the problem. So always believe that you can fix a problem or solve it somehow. Just remember that you don't have to do it alone, that there's always an adult in your life that wants to help you, okay? And if your parent or adult that can't help you at that moment, ask them if you can come back later and ask them to help you again later. And if at that moment there's nobody that can seem to help you, you can say a little prayer either to God or your angels or to yourself, because you have a higher self that's called your spirit or your soul inside of you. And you can say to them, please, angels, God, or my higher self, Please help me to fix this problem. Show me the way. And now, that solution may be that they distract you and they show you something else and get you busy doing something else so the problem just goes away all by itself. Or they may show you how to actually fix it. Whatever's best for you, they will show you the way. Okay? But you're never ever alone. So here's the activity you can do for this card. Okay? When you have a difficult challenge or something, a big problem, I want you to say to yourself, I can do this. Say it several times and feel what happens in your body when you say this. So feel how it feels first. Sit and think about what your body feels like. And then say, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Do that 3 times. And then take that breath again. And see, how does your body feel now? Does it feel any different? Has anything changed? Just notice that and see if it feels any different. It may not. But the more often you do that when you have problems, the more you'll really start to believe that you have the answers inside of you, and you'll start to figure them out. Sometimes it takes some practice and you have to do it a few times. So find the good things that came out of facing and solving a problem and talk about that. So next time you fix a problem or solve it, even if it means just forgetting about it and it goes away on its own, talk about to yourself. You can talk to yourself or to a parent or an adult and talk about what good came out of that problem. Were you able to fix it? Or did it just go away, almost like magic? Talk about that. Because the more you tune in, that means pay attention to how you fix problems and how amazing you are, especially when you ask for somebody's help, the more you'll believe that there's nothing in this world you can't do. And you're never alone when you have a problem. Okay? I have one more card, but I'm going to save that for next time because this video took a little longer than I expected it to. But I think you're going to learn some really important lessons. Don't forget to do what the ladybug tells you to do. Pay attention to the little things around you. Pay attention to how smart you are and what you see that other people may not see. And then remember to pay that compliment. Say something nice to somebody. And remember what the elephant says, that you can overcome any problem. And talk to the adults in your life. Ask for help when you have a problem. And remember, you're never alone. And you can always ask your angels, God, or yourself, or whoever mommy and daddy or the adults in your life want you to ask. You ask them and you'll get answers, but you got to listen for the answers, okay? Listen for the answers. Sometimes you'll just hear it in your head, like a little voice in your head. Sometimes you may hear the answer in a song that you hear on the radio or on the TV. Sometimes you may hear the answer in something somebody else tells you. But you pay attention to those things because they're going to make you smarter. And you're going to be as smart as the adults in your life very soon. But if you hang on to the good kid things, then you're extra special because then you have all those amazing things from being a kid, plus that wisdom and that knowledge, that important stuff you're learning that the adults are learning and know too. And before you know it, you're going to start discovering all of your superpowers. And you do have them. Everybody does. So what are yours? Until I see you again, hopefully we'll get to see each other next time. I want you to think about what your superpowers are. And make sure to give your parents or adults in your life a nice compliment. Okay? Bye-bye. See you later.